I guess it started in Toronto back in 1984, 85. I had a little hall with some collectibles I collected back in the 60s and 70s. And I left Toronto in 1988. I had maybe 3 or 4 boxes, and look what it is today. I guess I started with Toronto bands, the Poppers, Stitch in Time, Ugly Ducklings, Mandela, John and Lena Checkmates, Luke and the Apostles. Saw them all at the Rock Pile and the Massey Hall. Autographs started way later. I would think it was probably when I got here to Windsor in '88. Got in with some people that were running some concerts, and you're backstage, and next thing you know, you're putting a pen in someone's face with a piece of paper. The next thing I did was moving on to guitars. I didn't have any guitars in those days. However, saw all these people bringing these guitars, getting them signed by every Tom, Dick, and Harry out there, and thought it was a good idea to get maybe one pick guard signed by, everybody, because pick guards were pick guards. Mark Farner was probably one of the only guys that turned it down. I don't know why. However, I'm going to have him sign it because Dusty, a friend of mine, is playing acoustic with Mark, and Dusty promised me he'll get a pickguard signed by Mark Farner. Well, some of the good ones I've picked up: Jeff Beck, Buddy Guy, Johnny Winter, Edgar Winter, Stevie Vaughan. Didn't get his brother before he passed away. I've got all the Beach Boys except for David Marks. Got the Yardbirds, 2 of the Yardbirds and their reincarnations without Beck and Jimmy Page. I've got Eric Burden and the Animals. I've got Searchers. I've got the Shadows, 2 of the Shadows from England. Searchers, I mentioned them again. I've got about 4 pickguards signed by them. And most of the names, the big names that came through Windsor back in the late 80s, 90s, and currently. Retired 3 years ago. Why not use the room for the Beach Boys and Jimmy Buffett? I was told by a friend of Mike Love that if I did a room, leave Jimmy Buffett out of it. And I hope this is not going to be in my new book. Also was told that I could not put Mike Love and Brian Wilson together in the same case. So I had one wall with all of Mike Love's signed pictures, promo stuff, and one wall with Brian Wilson and all of his pictures and memorabilia that I collected over the last 20 years. I would say the Jeff Beck pickguards. I think that was a story in itself. I was lucky to have a backstage pass. So I went backstage, following Jim McCarthy of the Detroit Wheels at the time. He was walking ahead of me, and we were talking, and we were just going. So I went with him to the right. Ended up in Jeff Beck's room. It was Jeff, Jim, and myself. I asked Jim, could you have Jeff Beck sign these pickguards? He said, no, you ask. So I had 3 pickguards. I gave them to Jeff Beck, and I thought he would have questioned me, but he just signed like it was nothing going on. I usually get a picture with the artist. However, I was so taken back by him signing these 3 pickguards. I got the hell out of there before he changed his mind. I've had friends that are musicians over here, and they just marvel at the selection and the number of pieces that I've got or collected over the year. But it wasn't easy at times, you had to wait around, and it's it's something that you have to like, you know, you just can't go in there half-assed, so you're gonna get an autograph and be selling it. You gotta really want to do it. The moving sounds good, but the selling does not, because I've grown up with this stuff, and I really don't want to get rid of it. If I can donate it and be able to go and see it, that's one thing. However, to get rid of it, to sell it, or to just give it away, I can't do that. It's a lot of stuff, a lot of hard work collecting this stuff over the years.